Hello, welcome back to the After Dark Draft League with me, Ryan. I don't know what I'm doing. I've had to re-record this video so many times because I kept getting things wrong, so let's go. We are fighting Norilla this week. Norilla is a terrifying opponent with a lot of things that Norilla can do. It's got the Goldango, which is terrifying, the King Lu, which is bulky, the Mega God of Wire, the Alolan Ninetales, the Superior, the Toxapex, which I hate fighting, the Samurai Hisui that could just do a lot of damage, the Espadastra, if I let it get out of control, could do a lot of things. So it's insanely damage potential and insane bulk potential, but I hopefully had learned from last week and I will do a lot better this week. I shall chuck up my team here. There's a lot of stuff happening at once, so give me a second to get everything correct. So we are gonna lead. We lead Jirachi. This is a Choice Scarf, Iron Head, Drain Punch, U-Turn, Zen Headbutt Jirachi, just to do as much damage as possible and kill everything I can. This is basically a anti-Ninetales Jirachi because I don't want Ninetales to be able to get the Aurora Veil up because that puts me in a bad situation. I have got options. I've got Defog and that, but it puts me in a bad situation. So this is a perfect lead for me because I lead the Jirachi versus the Ninetales. He has to swap here, but I do go Iron Head because I just don't want to play the risky game of if I try and predict and he gets Aurora Veil, it puts me in the back foot immediately. So it's like the safe place, just the Iron Head. If he switches, I can switch from there. In comes the Rotom Wash, the UVZ Hope. This is a special defensive Rotom Wash that was a last minute change for Chiyu. I did have Chiyu on this team beforehand, but I changed it last minute to have. I needed some special bulk. I needed something that could live a lot of hits. So this was a fully special defense Hydro Pump, Will-O-Wisp, Volt Switch, Defog, Rotom Wash to live anything that special attacks want to do because I just realized how little special attacks I could eat. We do eat like Shadow Ball here, 25% from a Goldango, which is good. It does tell me that the Goldango isn't fully invested in special attack. Wasn't prepping it to be, but in comes Superior. That's pretty dangerous. I never want Rotom Wash to be on the field with a Superior on the field because of the Leaf Storm. So I do switch into Sour Apple here. Sour Apple is a standard Mega Sizzle with Bullet Punch, U-Turn, Roost, and Swords Dance, just to do a lot of damage, do a lot of killing potential. I did have Close Combat on here before, but I did change it for not U-Turn. Sorry, Bug Bite. Sorry, this has Bug Bite on it because I wanted more on the field, but we get paralyzed here, which I think is fine for Sizzle because Sizzle's so slow as it is. It's 273 speed at max. I don't have any speed investments, so instead of being burnt from like a Scald or being frozen from like a Blizzard or an Ice Beam, we just paralyze. We don't care. We get Sword Dance off here. Superior is behind a substitute, but we're not that bothered by it because we are so bulky, we live anything. But Toxapex comes in, we get another Sword Dance off because my Greed knows no bounds. Toxapex comes in here with a Haze. Tells me it does have Haze, but we get a Bug Bite off. We can see we do 15%, and it has the Black Sludge recovery. So that's something we've got to deal with in the future. I do have Knock on a few Pokemon. Here is Megatron. Megatron exists as a killer. I just wanted something that could hit hard and hit fast. Not a fast. Megatron has never been known as fast. So this is a Choice Specs, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Energy Ball, Bug Buzz, Vikavolt. It's just meant to hit hard, kill things, and then get the fuck up out. We take the Ice Beam, and we take 15% from that because it's surprisingly defensive. Like, you wouldn't look at it and think it's that defensive. Ninetales comes in. I get a very lucky Volt Switch off here. So it gives me a chance to go straight back into my Jirachi, which again, always wants to be on the field if it can against Nirvana, because it just scares Nirvana off. The obvious Goldango switch is here, but again, didn't want to get into a situation where it was risking the Aurora Veil coming up, where I would be in a worse situation. I could deal with it, but it would be annoying. So we go to Rotom Wash here. He goes for the Recover, but Rotom Wash, it just sits on Goldango. Even lives the Never Ending Nightmare, which I do know he carries, which we do see proc here. Only does 51%, I believe. Yeah, 51%, and we just live that. We do know that he is Ghost TMZ, which means he hasn't got some annoying items, and he has procced his Z move already. So Dragon Tails comes in. This Dragon Tails is a Komori EMZ, Clanging Scales, Flamethrower, Earthquake, and Aura Sphere. Komori just to hit things with fighting types, and then Earthquake's here to deal with like Toxapex and Goldango as well, with Flamethrower to help if I need it. So we get the flamethrower off, thinking Goldango would switch, but you know, it's a safe play. Earthquake would have probably been better. So we switch back into Megatron because we don't want to sit on a water type. We can kill it with Megatron, but Megatron unfortunately gets frozen, which is horrible for me. Makes it very hard for me to deal with. Emily comes back in because I'm like, okay, I need to switch. An unlucky switch for him into Nirvana, the Ninetales, so he has to sit here again, looking at Emily. I only ironhead this match with Jirachi because I'm like, I'm Choice Scarf Jirachi, I'm gonna flinch something. Come into Vikavolt, I'm like, if anything needs to die, might as well be the frozen Pokemon. But I get a very lucky turn 1 Thor while it nasty plots, and I Volt Switch here to get the fuck up out, get some nice damage off, takes down to 43%. This might have been a misplay with going Jirachi here, because I forgot I hit Bulletproof on the Komodo, so I lived a Shadow Ball. And I just couldn't think of what else to do, because I Volt Switch and then didn't have a plan after that. I didn't want to go into Iron Valiant just yet. I wanted to save that for a bit later, so this was a bit of a misplay for me. But I was trying to, okay, let's try and power flinch, let's try to flinch this thing down. And we do get the turn 1 flinch, which is probably annoying, which I can imagine annoying. This Goldango being gone would be huge for me. It would cut me through a lot. He does flinch again, so I try and get the flinch off again, because I guess he's going to recover. I only get a mid-roll. If I got a max roll there of 15%, it would have killed. He does get the recover. I'm like, okay, Jirachi needs to die here, because I just forgot about Bulletproof. We do get the critical hit, but we don't get the flinch. Die to the Shadow Ball, and Jirachi's dead. It's okay, Jirachi kind of did what I wanted to, but Megatron's in. We know he does want to stay in. We do rip the Thunderbolt here. We didn't know if he had Tinglu, but we now know he has Tinglu, which means Vikavolt is a bit more susceptible to not being able to rip Thunderbolts as much as it wants. But Rotom comes in and it just sits on Runaround. It doesn't really do much to Rotom. And I rip the Defog here. No, sorry, I ripped the Hydro Pump here, sorry. And again, we never want a situation where Rotom is on the field against a Superior, so we go straight into Megatron. Because it's not Boots, it is Specs, it's just taking a lot, but Superior misses the Leaf Storm, which is huge for me. I'm like, okay, what do I want to do with Megatron here? I want to go with Bug Buzz, because it just hits everything for good damage, because Choice Spec. So it does 66% to the Tinglu, which is a terrifying amount, because Tinglu going down would be game over almost. But we do bring in the Coco, which is like, okay, that's great. We two-shot Coco, and because we have max HP, we do live a Dazzling Gleam, and we're able to rip another Bug Buzz off to kill the Charger. The Coco is down. That's huge for us, because now nothing outspeeds my Iron Valiant. Superior is in on the field, and this was a moment of, I could have saved Vikavolt here. Vikavolt could have been saved and could have been used in the end game, or could have just kept me a point up. But I was like, I don't really have an option for getting Vikavolt in the field unless I'm able to get a turn where I can defog. And Sour Apple was always the answer here against Superior, but I was just in the moment. When you're in the moment, you kind of don't see the obvious solution. That you go into Sour Apple, you eat the Leaf Storm. So I do just give up Megatron here for no reason. Well, it was a reason. I didn't think I'd get it back on the field. It died to the Stealth Rock, so I didn't want to do that. So Sour Apple comes in, and Discipline can't do much to it because Hidden Power is banned in this league. This thing can't run Hidden Power Fire just to end my Sour Apple and ruin my day. Toxapex comes out. We could see that. We do get fully powered, so I can't remember what I did there, but we got fully powered. Superior is low. We go into Yui, and this was the perfect opportunity for me to defog, which I didn't really think about. We also learned this only has Ice Beam, and his Ice Beam does less than my Leftovers recovery. So that means I'm constantly healing higher than that Toxapex can do. Defog comes out, Discipline comes in, takes the evasion boost because of Contrary, and we're like, oh, shit, let's get back into Sour Apple. Sour Apple only takes 10%, but the Leaf Storm cannot hit again. I think he only hit like 2 Leaf Storms this entire battle, maybe 3. Does go for Substitute here. I don't know why he's so... I will say I've seen it in a few matches why he's so adamant to be behind the Substitute when it doesn't seem like the answer. Sometimes just raw damage is the answer, but it has worked out successfully for him. He does avoid the Bug Bite because of the evasion boost. He is at 24%, but we just Bullet Punch, critical hit, break the sub. He does do a Leaf Storm, but only does 10% to Sour Apple and neutral. At max, it does only like 60% at +6. So it gives me options to like... You can see that he's not going to do much. We Bullet Punch into Wonderland. It is going to recover with that Black Sludge. And I'm like, okay, let's get Rotom Wash back in. Get some passive healing with Rotom Wash. We get some Volt Switching off. Yeah, my plan here was to Volt Switch on the Wonderland. And then get something else back in. Tinglu does come out. which does screw over the Volt Switch. But I'm like, honestly, that's fine. I can just chuck a Will-O-Wisp down. Anything but Goldango doesn't want to come in. Goldango doesn't take 2 Hydro Pumps from this Rotom. But we chuck down our Will-O-Wisp, so we are on the Toxapex, which means it does take chip damage every turn with the burn, even with the Black Sludge recovery. We chuck down a Volt Switch this turn to get out from Discipline. Discipline is now in a bad situation where Leftovers isn't healing it up high enough, and Binary Not Found came in. So this is a Quark Drive, Drain Punch, Swords Dance, Poison Jab, knockoff. Poison Jab's there because I never want to be in a situation where Coco can just resist all my moves. And knockoff is there for Goldango again. Never want to be in a situation where Goldango can't be hit by something. We get the Quark Drive to get the speed boost, and I'm like, I can live any neutral Leaf Storm. So I'm like, 3 Swords Dance goes off here. And Run Around is now in a terrifying position where it doesn't want to be. Drain Punch is here because I just want passive healing. And I looked at how much I'd get, like almost 80% back if I one-shot the Tingaloo. So I get a bunch of HP back, gets me in a good position. This was also a mind game. I should have just given up the Quark Drive, but I didn't want to give up the Quark Drive. We do knock off this Black Sludge, so passive recovery can't even be happening now. So Burn is just going to be chipping it down, which makes it even harder to live. I get a bit greedy with the Swords Dance, and Haze pops off. But we're like, okay, we're in a 1v1. Toxapex can't do much to me. I don't know if it has Painful Bunker just yet. But I do get a Swords Dance while Goldango comes in. This is huge because neutral, because it's holding the Ghost EMZ, it can't knock it off. So it only does 65 damage instead of the double damage it normally does when you knock off an item. Without boost, I don't guarantee kill it with knockoff. With boost, I guarantee kill it. So we get the Goldango out of there, which is huge because Goldango is a problem that I did have to try and think of a solution for. Wonderland comes in. We don't know what it's got, but we're like, oh, Drain Punch is fine because we've only seen Haze and Ice Beam from it. So I'm assuming it has Recover. I don't know if it has Baneful Bunker right now. All Toxapex should always have Recover. It's Regenerator as well. Alright, let's get a Swords Dance off, see what he does here. He goes for Recover, does reveal the Recover. So we're like, okay, if he hasn't got Baneful Bunker, we're fine. And he has Baneful Bunker, which puts us in a bit of a back situation. I don't know why I didn't switch out Iron Valiant here. Iron Valiant outsped everything on the team, so I didn't need the Quark Drive up. Because the Quark Drive was there so that Coco couldn't come in and outspeed me if it was non-scarfed. So we could have switched into probably Yui here. Yui would have been a better answer. This is putting Norilla in a very, very hard game. One misplay I could lose, but it's putting Norilla in a very hard game with Goldango being gone, Tingaloo being gone, and the Coco being gone. Whereas I've only lost the Jirachi and the Vikavolt. Goes off another Baneful Bunker here while a 7 Swords Dance on that Recover. We go for the Drain Punch, and I see that I heal more with the Drain Punch than the Poison does to me. So I'm like, okay, if we play this smart, we can out-predict. But Norilla has got a good battle technique, like a battler's mind. So can do mind games in the reverse. So we're trying to think a few steps ahead. I should have saved Binary Not Found right here, because it could have come in and could have done some damage later as well. Especially since we weren't running webs because of Contrary Superior. We didn't want to give it a speed boost and give it a chance to get out of control. This was another big misplay because he did go for the Haze here to get rid of that because I thought he was going to Baneful Bunker. And we're down to 11%. Again, this is a situation where, in hindsight, I'm yelling at myself, you need to switch out Iron Valiant here. There's no need to let it die. But very quickly does the Ice Beam, kills out Iron Valiant. We're down to Komodo, Sour Apple, and the Rotom Wash. So obvious switch in here is Rotom Wash. I'm assuming that he's going to go for the Superior here, so I think I just chuck down a Volt Switch. Yeah, I chuck down a Volt Switch, takes it down to 6%. The Superior is at such low HP, and so is the Ninetales. The backbone of Norilla's team is that Toxapex right now. But Sour Apple doesn't really care either. Sour Apple at this point could have 1v3'd the entire team, but I wanted to play a bit more safe, because last week I played a bit too hasty and didn't think quick enough to do everything. We do switch into the Rotom. I'm like, okay, if this thing has Freeze Dry, this is bad for me. I can see the Aurora Veil coming up, but I'm like, Apple needs to come in because the Freeze Dry, we don't want to be hit with the UE Z-Hope with the Freeze Dry. We get the full power, and it is Blizzard, which tells me it's not Freeze Dry, which I thought was peculiar since I had quite a few water types as well with the Jellicent sitting there that could also switch in. But we do proc the Roost, which we hadn't revealed yet, so we have got longevity. This is why I think Sour Apple could have won this match, because Wonderland can't do much to it. Discipline comes in, I hard switch into Yui, and then we have to go straight back into Scizor, because we do not want Yui on the field with Scizor on the field. It does hit another Leaf Storm, only does 11%. We sit on this every day, morning and night, and it's back up to 24%. We know it can't chuck a substitute down, so we're in a good situation. Bug Bite does 6% to Wonderland behind the Aurora Veil. but it's also taking passive damage with the burn, which is probably the best play for us. Yui the Hope comes in, takes an Ice Beam, 4%. We heal back up 6% with the leftovers. So we're healing more than he does damage for with the Toxapex. And he comes into Superior. We do get the Lucky Burn, which means he's always below 25% now, so he can't get the substitute up. Which does help me a lot, because it means he's got less options to do stuff. He's not got Leech Seed. We do know... I do know he has the Dragon's Pulse as his last move, because he would have ripped the Leech Seed by now if he had Leech Seed. So Toxapex comes back in, we Bullet Punch onto the Toxapex. Sour Apple would have won this match, like I said, but I was playing more conservative, more careful. Yui the Hopes comes in and goes for an Ice Beam. We heal off that, and we're like, okay, let's Volt Switch again, because our answer here is always to Volt Switch on this thing. I didn't carry Thunderbolt because I wanted pivoting potential. And Wonderland takes about 40% with the Volt Switch. And Superior and Ninetales can't really switch in freely with the Volt Switch coming up. So we Volt Switch out on Discipline, go into the Mega Scissor. This is a lot of going back and forth between Mega Scissor and Rotom Wash. Mega Scissor, Rotom Wash. Mega Scissor, Rotom Wash. Because I want to get myself in a position where I'm not screwed over. Because if I play too rough and too wild, then I could lose a Pokemon, and it puts me on a back foot because Superior can go wild. If Sour Apple goes down, Superior kind of cleans up. So we go into Yui the Hopes. I'm fully special defenses. I'm like, I can live a Freeze Dry if it has it. It doesn't have it. It has Blizzard. So I'm like, okay, this is great, because he would 1000% Freeze Dry here. I thought he was going to Aurora Veil. So like, I'm going to predict the Aurora Veil, get the defog off. And I'm like, 1000%. If he Freeze Dries here, we're fine, but we need to think about a new strategy. We chuck down a Willow, which means it does carry the Light Killing, which means it hasn't got leftovers, so it's taking more passive damage. Again, the whole thing is passive damage. Slowly over time, I'm just whittling Norilla down. I'm putting him into an unwinnable situation in my thing. And because I wasn't 1000% sure about the Freeze Dry, I was like, okay, I'm going to Volt Switch here, get Sour Apple in. I could have defogged it, it would have been better. But we're like, okay, let's get Sour Apple in. But I think we hard switch Sour Apple here straight into the Rotom, which I think is a misplay here, because he does predict the switch, because he's kind of seen that Rotom Wash wants to be on the field with Toxapex, Scizor wants to be on the field with the Superior. So we have to, again, hard switch back into Scizor while he shoots off the Leaf Storm, which he does squiff another Leaf Storm, which I mean, like, the 90% my ass, which I do feel bad about, but you know. I am putting him in an unwinnable situation here. He can still pull it back if he plays careful enough. The Toxapex is a problem for me that I just have to figure out how to deal with. Rotom Wash comes back in. Superior isn't on the field, so we're like, okay, good. Yui the Hopes comes in. We can always just Volt Switch here, which is what we do. He kind of sees that we only have Volt Switch, really, to deal with this, which is fine. Most Rotoms run Volt Switch anyway, Rotom Washes. I could have run Thunderbolt, but I wanted the pivoting potential of, you know, if something's on the field I can live a hit from, I want to get out of there and take the hit with Rotom. Specifically Goldango, because I know he likes to run the Goldango. We set off the Roost here, get healed fully up. We could have set up with Sour Apple here. We're on turn 88. Could have set up with Sour Apple, but we're like, nah, let's get Rotom back in. Play smart, play a bit slower, and be like, okay, we can do this, do this, do this, do this. Volt Switch comes in, does 42%. It's all I can really do, but Wonderland... Well, I'm like, okay, Dragon Tails has to come out now. This is the Komoreum Z Dragon Tails. I'm like, okay, we could rip the Z move here, but Baneful Bunker on the Earthquake. So the next turn, I do rip the Z move, because I'm like, if he goes into Ninetales, he goes into Ninetales. Arguably, I should have just Earthquaked or used Clanging, used basic Earthquake. And we do Clangorous Soul Blaze. It does be immune because of the Fairy type. And we don't want to be in against an Ice type with the Dragon Tails, because we're like, okay, Scizor, please come in. Take a Moonblast or Blizzard, whichever one that Norilla wants to use. And the Ninetales goes down, which means he is out of Aurora Veil, giving me a good position for Sour Apple to come in and do a lot more damage. At this point, I should have just set up with Sour Apple. Shouldn't have switched around too much. We do switch back into Rotom Wash. We're going to switch back into the Scizor, as you can see. Kind of the play for today was just a lot of switching on my side. A lot of turns where nothing's happening except for switches. Another Leaf Storm squiffs. And that it is getting burnt and healing, but it can never get up to 25%. We get into Scizor. It goes into Wonderland. We go for Swords Dance. The hail stops. We go for the haze there. We see how much Bug Bite does. It does 15%. So it could have just sat here. It would have been a longer game. But it could have just sat here and just was like, okay, I'm going to Bug Bite until you're dead or you run out of recovers. And I've got enough Roost to outlive you, because you can only do 6% with Ice Beam. You can't freeze me. But we're like, okay, let's play a bit smarter. See if we get a Swords Dance off here. But now we just go for Bug Bite. Again, this is very much a mind games thing. This was much longer in turns of me trying to figure out what my next play was. Bug Bite comes out from the recover, takes down to 77% with the burn. We go back into Rotom Wash. I'm like, okay, Rotom Wash just needs to come and Volt Switch again. Because if he switches into the Superior, we're Volt Switching on it. If he stays in with Toxapex, he's taking 42% with that. He does Baneful Bunker this turn, and we do Volt Switch. But we're like, okay, we're just going to keep Volt Switching. We're going to lock ourselves into Volt Switch, even though we're not choice. But we're just going to keep hitting Volt Switch because there's no point of ripping the burn. We might as well just, because everything's burned. Volt Switch on the Superior, which does kill it, which puts me in a great position. Because it's just Toxapex versus Sour Apple, Dragon Hails, and UEC Hopes. Dragon Hails comes out. I can see that Dragon Hails kind of just stops Wonderland because it only has Ice Beam. And the Clanging Scales only lowers my physical defense. I do rip the Earthquake this turn to see how much it does. But on the damage calc, it did about 40% with Clanging Scales, 42%. So I was like, okay, it's lowering my physical defense, not my special defense. So I do live these Ice Beams at 30%. And Komoro gets another... I think he goes for Baneful Bunker here. No, he goes for the Recover here, sorry. But it does lower him down to 53%. With the burn, it lowers him to 47%. And he is in an unwinnable situation. Baneful Bunker was actually a bad play there. Recover would have probably been better. But with the Protect and the burn, it knocks us down to 41%. Where Clanging Scales is now a guaranteed kill. And we do take week 2 against Norilla. A very scary coach, a very scary team. And a very dangerous opponent that if we didn't play it exactly perfectly, it would have been game over, GG, no re. So, yeah. Thanks to Norilla for the wonderful battle. And thanks to everyone who I've battled so far for the wonderful battles. I think, in hindsight, saving the Iron Vow would have been better. Not sacking the Jirachi so early would have been better. But it's something that, you know, in the moment, I was like, this is my best play. And in the moment, you kind of don't see your best plays. You kind of see them in hindsight when you watch them back. But yeah, that was week 2 of the After Dark Draft League. That was my opponent, Norilla. That does give us our first win on the board, so we're going 1-1. The next episode, or next part, or next battle, whatever you want to say, will be coming out on Wednesday. This will be uploaded on Sunday, as of recording and uploading and stuff like that. It will be coming out on Wednesday, the 22nd, I think that is, Wednesday. Anyway, if you like it, and if you like these battles, please join the Discord. We host monthly server tournaments. Just doing a little shilling for myself now. We host monthly server tournaments on Pokemon Showdown, maybe Pokemon Champions if we can get enough people interested. And we welcome all levels. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for enjoying. If there's anything that you noticed in this battle that I didn't call out or something you wanted to mention, put it in the comments. I tried to read them. I always do read them. And yeah, this is a rambly ending. Like and subscribe, please. Thank you.